Fox News host Eric Bolling is going to muster up a defense of the price gouging Big Pharma CEO who changed the price of AIDS pills, medication for AIDS, from $7 a pill to $750 a pill. Eric, take it away.
Meet the most hated man on the internet right now, the greedy CEO with a patent to an AIDS drug. Greedy CEO jacks up price of pill 5,000%. The results seem horribly improper.
Why was it necessary to raise the price of Daraprim so drastically?
Well, it depends on how you define so drastically, because the drug was unprofitable at the former price. So any company selling it would be losing money. And at this price, it's a reasonable profit, not excessive at all.
You see how greedy this move looks.
Yeah, I could see how it looks greedy, but I think there's a lot of altruistic properties to it. There's no doubt I'm a capitalist. I'm trying to create a big drug company, a successful drug company, a profitable drug company. We're trying to flourish, but we're also, our first and primary stakeholder is patients.
Now, I say be careful before you call this guy for this guy's head. It's the free market that provides the profit motive that entices drug companies to risk their own money to discover cures for diseases. Now, think about this for 1 second. God help us if we left that to the government.
God help us if we left it to the government. Yeah, Eric, if we left something like this to the government, perhaps the price of the thing would go from $7.50 to $750. Oh, that's right. That didn't happen when we left it to the government. That happened when we left it to capitalism. This guy's incredible, man. He's presented with incontrovertible evidence that perhaps free market capitalism is not the answer in every area ever. And what's his takeaway? Fucking government. Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, this might be bad, guys, but can you imagine what would happen if we left it to the government? I would imagine it can't get worse than this. $7 to $750. And you take away from that fucking government. I mean, these guys, they're a parody, man. What's so funny is that these guys always accuse the left of only wanting government as the solution. Now, you've heard me talk about this time and time again. You've heard others on the left talk about this time and time again. That's actually not true. We don't think government is the solution to everything. We think government is the solution to some things. But flip the script, and what they're really doing is projection. Because they are the ones who think government is never the answer. So in other words, the answer is always capitalism, even when the problem was capitalism. The problem was capitalism, and he's like, the solution is capitalism. But that's what caused the problem! The thing you're talking about right now, the problem was capitalism. It was this greedy fucking CEO going in there, price gouging. And by the way, he actually collapsed a little bit under public pressure here. We don't know what he's going to lower the cost to, but he did collapse to a certain extent, which shows you also that all of his arguments were total horseshit. He's like, well, you know, we were selling it at a loss. Oh, were you really? And we had to mark it up to a little bit of profit, not a lot of profit. You increased the price 5,500%. And you're saying, well, I just made it reasonable profit margin. My ass you did. My ass you did. And he had the nerve to say, it's altruistic. In many ways, what I'm doing is altruistic. No, guys, see, this is one of those instances where my takeaway from it is, oh, okay, so this is where you have to have some sort of a government system set up, whether it's efficient regulation to prevent price gouging and stuff like that, or this is a case of just pure nationalization. Because they act like, one of the arguments these guys always make against government is you fuck up the incentive structures. You know, you make it so that people don't want to cure this thing or that thing, and they're just lazy and they're on the government dime. But you can actually, if you nationalize right, if you set up the right kind of system, well, you can make it so that the incentives are there to continue to find cures and stuff like that and continue to produce the medication. There are some things where the solution is, in a modern society and in a modern economy, government. Some things that's not the case, other things that is the case. So my go-to examples are always material goods. Excuse me, material goods. I don't want the government involved in making video games. They make shitty fucking video games. I don't want the government involved in making beds. They'd make shitty beds. These are consumer items. I don't want the government involved in making cars. Did you see the cars that came out of the Soviet Union? They were horrendous. They were laughable, man. They were laughable because there was no competition, so they couldn't try to come up with a better product at a cheaper price. I get that. But in some areas, the profit margin is perverse. healthcare and health insurance, those are some of those areas. Pharmaceuticals maybe as well, as we're seeing right here. The problem is you've made it so that in the case of health insurance, you make more money for your insurance company when you deny more care. So you're going to try to deny as much care as possible to keep padding that bottom line and keep your shareholders happy. That's a perverse incentive. You're pitting the person who needs your help against the person who you're trying to make money for. That system is not going to work. You're going to make it so that people don't get care. And we have a system where there's a lot of weaseling out of giving people the care that they need or paying for the care that they need. With pharmaceuticals, if these are life-saving drugs and some capitalist comes in and says, great, I know you need this drug. There's no other way for you to get this drug. I'm jacking up the price this much. Well, you can't do that. I'm not going to have everybody in society that has this illness suffer as a result of your ass being fucking greedy. This is an exact time where you need government. And Eric Bolling, what's so funny is that as he accuses the left of being ideologues, he's the ideologue. Because I'm saying sometimes the answer is government, sometimes the answer is capitalism. He's clearly saying the answer is always capitalism. He's looking at a problem caused by greedy CEOs who are capitalists, and he goes, fucking government's the problem, we need capitalism. We have it in this case, and it's what caused the problem.